Hi, and welcome to the Free Thinkers Podcast. I am your host, Mateo, and today we are talking about studying abroad with Joel Ramos. Hey, Joel, what's going on?
Nothing much, Mateo. Just here in my house, quarantine thing.
Now, what is studying abroad?
Okay, so really simple. Studying abroad is a program that allows students to study in a different country for a certain period of time. So, um, the period of time can range from like 2 weeks to maybe like the whole year, or just a semester. It really varies on what program you want to go into.
Now, when and how did studying abroad start to become a program offered to college students?
Okay, well, studying abroad actually became available to college students in 1923. And the first university to actually do studying abroad was the University of Delaware. So there was this professor that was a veteran from World War I, and he saw firsthand like everything that goes on between countries when they fight, obviously being a veteran from the war.
Yeah.
And he's like, dang, like this kind of sucks that we're always like we can be at each other's throats and it's such an ugly thing. But when he where he was stationed, he saw like the culture of like the French people, and he was just like, this is amazing, like how come we don't make more of an effort to just talk things out and get to know each other better. So when he had actually returned, he started to propose it to the university, and he's like, look, I know it's kind of iffy, but what about the idea of sending French like students to France for their junior year? And so in 1923, that's when it was actually like approved and it got to be used.
Uh, so it started off kind of like as a way of connecting two different cultures and
Yes.
learning more about it. Now, how do students get into a studying abroad program?
Well, when you're going to apply for a study abroad program, you first have to consult your campus counselor, because the thing is, when you do a study abroad program, you want to make sure that your classes do count towards your degree plan, because you don't want to take extra hours and it's just going to, you're going to be kind of wasting money. So the campus counselor is going to try best to guide you in the right direction. And so, after figuring out like, oh, you can take I don't know, Korean, your beginning Korean course or your beginning Spanish course, like, yeah, you can do that and take it abroad, then you would start talking to your study abroad center in your campus, and then you would start filling out an application. And so the big thing to remember is that you can go in and you can just be interested. You don't have to like sign your name down for anything. Like you can just ask about it, ask some questions, and they'll bring people in to talk to you. So it's really nice.
Oh, okay. Now, how do students who study abroad usually handle the foreign places they live in?
So this kind of just depends on the students themselves. I actually had a friend who went to go study abroad, and she went to the UK, and she had a blast. She was just um, just touring the places. She got to hang out with her classmates a lot, so they just went all over Scotland, all over London, and she did fine. Like it's just a matter of being like independent. Like how do you do with being by yourself and like managing, like this is you being an actual adult. This is where you actually manage like your passport. If you lose your
Yeah.
passport, that's scary. Like you can't go back home. It's a lot of things you're gonna have to take into consideration when you go. And so if you're not too sure about it, like the college could like provide meetings or classes before you actually attend your study abroad program, or like they'll have people come talk to you about um how like their experience went. So it kind of gives you an idea. But um there are people that like I know that got to go, and they had a blast. One of my friends, her name's Janae, and she actually um went to Korea before the coronavirus. So she was there for like 3 days. She got to meet her team and everything. She was there on an internship, and then well, Corona broke out, and so she had to come back home.
Yeah. Now, when someone thinks about studying abroad, and then uh, especially if they know the history on how like it started as a way of connecting, they would think that maybe the benefits are not only learning about that culture as you would in the classroom, but getting to see it yourself, and then just becoming more connected and having that education be more implanted into your head. So, what are they? What are like some other benefits that uh people who don't know about studying abroad may get?
Well, like, first of all, the big thing is like you get to see the world. Like, how
Hmm.
exciting is that? You get to travel. And like this is when you're a student, so you can be a little young and reckless, living it up once in a while, but still focus on your education. And then like if you're looking at it from the education, like strictly education, like you get to see like the different styles of education. Like we're like I don't know how to describe it, but like if you study here in America and you're gonna compare it to like how people study and like I don't know, like Mexico, and then compared to how people study in like Korea or China, it's gonna be the classroom setting's different. And so when you go study abroad, you're gonna be with those professors who have that mindset. And so you get to see and try yourself with a different way. And I think that's just really cool. But like another thing is that like you get career opportunities when you study abroad because you're interacting with all these different people, you make connections and it's just networking. And later on some of those people will actually remember you, or if you're going on an internship, like they're going to remember your name, they're going to remember that, oh, this person's from America, and like they're just going to remember all these things about you. And that's what just makes it even better because you went there for your education, and then now you have like maybe a job opportunity. Like, how exciting is that?
Yeah, there's a quote from Goodwill Hunting where Robin Williams tells Matt Damon, "I bet you can tell me everything you can about Michelangelo's paintings, but I bet you can't tell me what it smells like in the Sistine Chapel." And it basically like that quote kind of shows you like the impact experiencing those actual cultures and experiencing everything you learn about rather than just reading it can make on you.
Yeah.
Now, besides the benefits, what are, if there are any, negative effects of studying abroad, maybe on the education of the students?
For the education of the students, it could be more like just a language barrier that you'll have a hard time just like comprehending what they're telling you. Like if you're not like you go study abroad in Spain and like your professor, like obviously they know English because they're trying to they're aware of the study abroad program, but the thing is like they can still struggle with that, and so they may heavily rely on their Spanish. And so if you're not good in Spanish, well, you're gonna have a hard time. But if it's just education, I would just say it's the language barrier. Everything else from there is just small things for like when you travel and like just you being independent.
Now, you talked about earlier how one person's experience in the studying abroad program changed because of the coronavirus. How do you think the studying abroad programs will change in their format after we recover from this?
I'm pretty sure they're gonna be taking more like safety procedures to make sure that everything's fine. Um, so like right now, I was going through like some study abroad programs like for different universities, and so like right now, Kingsville has closed all their programs. UT Austin has labeled all their programs as restricted zones and has canceled them till like August 18th, and then UTRGV just closed all their study abroad programs like for 2020. So like we're probably not going to be able to go study abroad maybe like a year from now depending on the country, but
Mhm.
that's where it's going to be up to the university to decide like okay, what is actually safe now. And that's actually going to be very beneficial because they're going to be trying to ensure like the safety of their students.
Yeah. Now, how much do these programs usually cost?
These programs cost the same amount of tuition that you would pay for like your current university. So right now, like, or like I'm gonna go to McCombs, right? UT
Mhm.
Austin McCombs. And so my tuition, it went up RIP, but it's 13,260, I believe.
Yeah.
So if I were to go to a university in like Italy, I would be paying the Macombs tuition. And so in a sense, like it can be really expensive or it can be like even better because you can attend a university that costs less, but you'll still be paying the same tuition. So it's like, but then you could be attending some private university that actually costs way more, but you're gonna be paying the same again, the same tuition.
Now, what kind of classes offer a studying abroad program? Because I wouldn't see like mathematics like calculus needing to go to like Italy or something.
Um, Really all types of classes are like study abroad,
Hmm.
but they're really just gonna recommend stuff for like where you actually get to go somewhere. Like
Mm.
if like it's your Korean or Spanish or French, like language classes, like probably in your second year, that's when they're gonna be like, oh, well, like, yeah, let's go study abroad, let's go into the culture and everything. And some of like your business or like your art classes are gonna have you study abroad. Maybe it's not gonna be your beginner classes. It just depends on like your professor. If they want to be like a faculty led study abroad, then they might like push for it and it could go through.
Now, are there any types of students that you wouldn't recommend studying abroad to?
Um, Overall, I'd want to recommend everyone to study abroad, but if you're very like picky and not willing to try like new things or have a
Mhm.
trouble with independence, then like I really wouldn't recommend it to you. But like I would still say give it a shot. Maybe do an internship during the summer just to try it out because this is a really big opportunity of like just going like just traveling and like using this as like an educational experience. And there's so many like opportunities that you can go that you can just have when you go somewhere else, when you go somewhere different. And to know that like you're not going to be taking it when it's offered to you, especially when you can apply for scholarships to like help make it like the cost to make it cheaper. But if you do struggle with those things, then yeah, maybe you shouldn't.
All right. Now, how has your research helped you and may help others?
Um my research really showed that there's more to it than just like signing an application. Like you actually have to go and consult with your counselors, and it like I am emphasizing independence a lot because it's really that's what it comes down to. Because
Mhm.
there's three types of study abroad programs. So there's like exchange, affiliate, and faculty led. And so it it kind of just varies in the level of independence that the university is willing to give you. And the thing is, like, you're going to another country, you're gonna be managing your own like personal documents, like your passport, your credit card. Like someone's not gonna be there to hold your hand if you lose it. Like on campus, like okay, cancel it, get a new one. But if you don't contact your bank or like um your phone service, like tell them that you're in another country,
Mhm.
like you can face like um fraud charges even though it's your own account, or you can have your phone disconnected. And that really just put things into perspective while I was working on this. I'm like, man, some of these people like they don't know this stuff. They don't know this information that they have to be handling. And the fact that they're still going out and being kind of reckless, like it's kind of scary. So I was just like, wow, it's really good that I know this now because I really want to study abroad. Like that's why I chose the topic.
Mm.
And another thing is that like I hope like for this helping to help others is that like it gives them more like it piques their interest a little bit more about studying abroad, and that they're willing to try it or at least look into it. um Even if not studying abroad, like going to like another campus, because like no matter what, like your college or your university is going to have like opportunities for you to go somewhere else, like not to just stay in on campus. And so just take like those different opportunities, like to do an internship or like to just be part of a research program, to go and venture out and look at stuff in Florida or New York or California, like go and travel. Like this is a big thing for me. Like traveling is a really big thing for me. I really like to travel, and I would really want other people to travel. And so I like knowing that studying abroad is just there and it's available for everyone. It just makes me really want to like encourage everyone else to do it.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I know I am interested in studying abroad, and one of my dreams has always been to like go and travel, see the world, and try to help out as much as I can. And I've definitely learned a lot from this interview alone. So I know that other people will learn a lot more from your project as well.
Thank you.
All right.